Happy Saturday morning story time, everybody. We are going to hear the book that started it all. Yeah, the book about Jessie's adoption. Jessie was adopted from Miss Winkle's Pet Adoption Center in Clovis. And she was adopted on 2/12/12. February 12th is her gotcha day. That's when we celebrate her adoption. And this story was written about her adoption and how we think her life was before we found her at the shelter. We absolutely support animal shelters, especially Miss Winkle's and Fresno Bully Rescue. Those are my two local shelters. We have many more local shelters, but those are the two that I specifically support through donation drives twice a year. Every February, I host a donation drive for Miss Winkle's. That's where Jessie came from, Miss Winkle's Adoption Center. And she was 5 months old when I adopted her. In the story, we talk a lot about shelters. And yes, I support those two shelters, but we support all shelters. With the donation drive that I'm doing this actual month coming up in February for Jessie's gotcha day, that will be a different type of donation drive than I've ever done before. I usually host them at my house, have my friends at work either give me whatever donations they want to give me, or people can drop off on my doorstep. That's how I've been working it out, and also having a little open house. It's really not working out the times that we're in right now. So I have reached out to Miss Winkle's and asked them to update and give me a link to their wish list on Amazon. So hopefully this will be an easier way for lots of people to donate, even if you live far away. But it's so important for animal shelters to get donations. Yes, many of them get funding, but they really do rely on donations. And even if your donation is making an appointment and going in and looking at some dogs and making their day brighter, that is something too. It doesn't always have to be a monetary donation or something that costs money. Miss Winkle's is an amazing organization. They have adopted out 700 pets in 2020. I think that's pretty amazing. They are in Clovis, California, in case you're watching from somewhere else. They're in Clovis, California. And when I got Jessie from Miss Winkle's, they were at a different location. They're at a beautiful location, a state-of-the-art animal shelter. But they were in a little red barn next to their intake facility, which if you're in Clovis and you know Clovis, it's next to the skate park on Villa. And that's where I got Jessie. She was sitting all alone in a little cage all by herself because she was only 5 months old and she hadn't had all of her shots yet. So they were isolating her from the other dogs. And true, in this story, at the end, all the dogs come with me. It was so cramped and funny. If you'd have been there, you'd have laughed. Having all the dogs in the little reception area. And funny thing is, when we got there, we really left and came back, but there was another person there who wanted Jessie, and they were like, well, these people just went home to get their dog to see if everything worked out. So that's how cute she is. Anyway, so about my Jessie. The other thing I want to give a shout out to, we follow lots of animal shelters. If you personally know of an animal shelter, please tell me about them. I want to follow them, first of all, on social media. I also would like to send them a book for their lobby. I have done that with every shelter, out of town shelter that I visited. They all have a book. One in particular that I want to give a shout out today is WAGS, W-A-G-S, WAGS Pet Adoption in Westminster, California. That's in Southern California. They are located in a little strip mall right in the middle of town. They have a little yard in the back, and they posted on social media in the last couple of days that they are totally out of adoptable dogs. That is, in my opinion, worth crying some happy tears over. They've adopted out every single dog in their shelter. It melts my heart. I just love that. Anyway, if you can, just be on the lookout in the next couple of weeks. I will be blasting it out in social media, the link for Miss Winkle's Pet Adoption Center's wish list on Amazon. I feel like that's just one of the easiest ways to host a donation drive right now. This is my 4th annual. Done this 4 times. And I still donate 25% of the profit that I make off of these books to animal rescue. That was the reason I came up with this idea, the whole reason behind me starting this. You know, it was a 5-year process. 2018, I published this book, and you know, it's not a lot of money, but I do have a vehicle where I can donate to them, and it just is what I'd always wanted to do. So, well, let's read. Jessie, she's right here. I will show her that to you all when we're finished. Jessie. Hi, I'm Jessie. I'm a pit bull. I know. Pit bulls are mean. Ah, yeah, right. Well, I'm here to say you can't believe everything you hear. Enough of that. More about me. That's Jessie for you. She wants all the attention. I must admit, I might be a little funny looking at first glance, but everyone thinks I am gorgeous. At least those that matter, and I happen to agree. My hair is soft and shiny, kind of short. Definitely easy to manage. Can you imagine what those long hairs go through just to wash their hair? I am also missing one of my front teeth. Puppy playtime. Enough said. I'm mostly black with a thin white stripe between my eyes. It's a little crooked, just one of my beauty marks. And I have a splash of white around my nose that curls down my chin and makes a cute little shape on my chest. My whiskers? Now they are funny. On one side of my face they're white, on the other side black. I guess I'm lucky they're not green. Now my best feature is my ears. They're what makes me unique. One always stands straight up, the other always flops down. Don't you think that is just the most precious thing? We love those ears. And I love to have my face petted. There she goes. Well, back to my story. I wasn't always the light of Mom's eyes. I used to live at a house where everything wasn't so nice. It was okay at first. I would play and jump on the couch and run around the kitchen. That's where the tooth incident happened. But as I began to grow, my people put a thick collar on me and tied me to a tree in the backyard, even in the rain. Oh, did Tucker take your spot? I tried to get their attention using my ears, you know, that floppy and straight thing, and I would howl, but nothing seemed to work. It seemed like nobody wanted me anymore. I just sort of gave up. They never came out to play. They would never pet me. Poor Jessie. One night, when it was raining, I pulled at my lead, trying to get on the porch. It was wet. I pulled and twisted and slipped and slithered. All of a sudden, I couldn't feel the collar anymore. I was free. I scratched at the door, but no one answered. It was dark and cold. I looked around and ran along the fence. I found a loose board and pushed it with my nose. The board moved. I pushed a little more and the board fell off. Wow. I wondered what was on the other side. I squeezed through the hole, and all of a sudden, I was on the other side. I could run and run, say it with me, and run. I guess I should have said, say it loud, because it's in all caps. When I stopped running, I was in a strange place. It wasn't a backyard. In fact, it wasn't a yard at all. There were no fences, no collars, no people. It was huge, with rows and rows of vines growing on big stumps with clusters hanging down. It was kind of scary. Being in the vine yard wasn't so bad. Early in the morning, people would walk through the vines looking at the purple things. You know, those clusters. I tried eating them, but they were very sour. Anyway, I knew I had to hide, but I was getting really hungry. There was water in the ditches, but the only thing I could find to eat was what the peoples had dropped. Not much. It seemed like I was always hungry. Sometimes shelter dogs are always hungry because of what they go through. One day, there was a person who kept calling me. Here, boy. Here, boy. Can't you tell I'm a girl? Just look at me. Do I look like a boy? Anyway, he held out some food. It smelled like a chicken sandwich. Oh, did my mouth start to water. As I was eating the sandwich, he started to pet me. I didn't know how much I missed getting petted. I couldn't get enough. It felt so good. The man took me to a place called a shelter. There were lots of dogs there. Big dogs, little dogs, old dogs, and puppies. Even some pit bulls, like me. The peoples gave me a bath. A girl needs her beauty treatment. And some water and treats. I like treats. They even petted my face. Bonus points right there. She loves that. After a couple of days at the shelter, a family walked between the cages. "I don't want a puppy," I heard the lady say. Then they looked at me. We stared at each other. Something clicked. I knew these were my peoples. I had to have them. I wagged my tail. I smiled. I jumped up and down. I tried to squeeze through the cage to get close to them. Everyone in the family petted me. It felt so good. "She looks like a pit bull, Mom," the girl said, "but it says lab mix on the card." She knows I'm a pit bull, and she can tell I'm a girl, beautiful and smart. "You know your dogs," the shelter person said. "She is a pit bull." "But she's so cute," the girl said. "Look at her eyes, they sparkle." I put on my bestest smile. "Aren't you a sweetie?" Mom said. See how I called her Mom? "There are lots of them around, especially in the shelters," the helper person said. Christina, I think her name was. "Pit bulls are normally very sweet and affectionate, just like any dog that is loved and cared for." Then they left. I thought I was going home, but they left. Now what was I going to do? I knew I would be stuck at the shelter forever. Poor Jessie. Must be a sad feeling, stuck at the shelter. Later that afternoon, there was a big commotion in the hallway. My family was back, and they had brought all of their other dogs to meet me, just to make sure. I get along with everyone, so of course they loved me. Of course. Home I went with Mom, girl, and 3 other dogs. What a family! They're so lucky they found me. Really, I'm the lucky one. They took me to school, where I learned to sit and stay and lie down. And I can shake hands. Well, pause. Mom takes me for walks every day. I even get to sleep with her on her big, soft bed. Sure beats being tied to a tree, you think? I love being next to her. She's right there. I keep looking at her. She tells me how pretty I am. She gives me treats, and she tells me I'm a good girl. What more could a girl ask for? And you know what? She pets me. I love having my face petted. So, true story. I almost called this book Jessie's Face. That was the original plan. But I have a great editor and publisher who helped me publish the book. He advised on Jessie, so I'm glad. Shout out to Dan. All right, here we go. I'm going to show you these dogs. Tucker's having a lick fest over here. What are you doing? He is licking his bed. Here's Jessie. Hi. Say hi, Jessie. Hi. Say hi, pretty girl. Hi. Thank you for coming to Saturday Story Time, everybody, and listening to my story. And here's Tucker licking the bed. Tucker. Tucker. Hey, take a break, buddy.
All right. I swear he's half cat. He grooms himself all day long, and now he's grooming the bed. All right, Tucky. Also a shelter dog. From ARF, Animal Rescue Fresno. Shout out to ARF. All right. Thank you so much for joining today. It's contagious. Now Jessie's licking. Oh my goodness. The licking dogs. Having a licking convention. All right. Happy Saturday. Thanks for joining. Bye. Oh, say bye. Say bye, Jessie. Bye. Oh, bye, everybody.